Friday.
Now, who folks the best, y'all?
Who folks the best, y'all?
I say, who folks the best, y'all?
Funky Friday.
I say, who folks the best, y'all?
Hey, this is for my brother. Y'all know him. My main man. That's right. Tank, Sparrow, what's up, y'all? Hey, we doing this show. This is going to be dedicated. Next week, we're going to have a special show all the way live from the Peace in the Morning Show, VoxWave.com, for our very own good brother, Ernest Tank. Damn.
Bring it on down.
Come on. What's up, Tank? Everybody just so early in the morning on the Peace in the Morning Show, y'all. What's up now? Oh, say what? Body and soul. Take control now. Come on, y'all. So funky on Friday. Come on. Ow! What's up, Funky Friday, baby? We live right here on the Peace in the Morning Show. Woo-wee! Hey, man, we love you, baby, over there in Gambia, West Africa. What's up? That's right, the Kunta Kinte Festival's coming to town, September 29th. We're going to be there live, the Peace in the Morning Show. Sharice, that's right, Booed Up Remix will be live. Clones of Funk, that's right, in the studio. Peace in the morning, baby. Come on, y'all. And we got a powerful show for you today. We're following up on that Forward to School series, where we teach our parents and our students how to be successful going to school. That's right. Hey, Jonathan Gorham, selection. Congratulations, brother, over at Loyola University. Already a business owner. Come on, do it. Go to school. Get your business going.
Now, boogie.
Funky Friday.
Now we know you want a boogie,
On the Peace in the Morning Show.
Now get it, boogie. Say what?
Funky Friday. Come on. Hey, what? Y'all see Lincoln University? Ow! Hey, look, y'all, we're going to get ready to rock and roll. It's the Peace in the Morning Show. We got a big show for you today. We got a brother that's so powerful. Brother Ture coming to the studio live. The brother just graduated from Morgan State University, Golden Bears. That's right. He's pumping and he's doing his thing. He's as a business app, and the business app is for black businesses that are pushing positivity in our community. So stay tuned for that. But we rocking, we rolling. It's the Peace in the Morning Show with Darius Stanton. Here we go, baby. Hey, Queen Ayasuda Bay. Tell them about who's after him. Who's after you? You know who it is. We pushing that this morning. Come on now. Peace in the morning. Ow. What's up, baby? Peace in the Morning Show. Rocking and rolling, getting you ready for your weekend. That's right, Labor Day weekend. Hey, this weekend I want you to do this. While you thinking about labor in America, I want you to think about starting your own business. How do you do that? All right, I'm ready to make that shift. I'm going over to the stage. Jumping off the stage and going to the desk. We'll get a little positive news going when we come back on the Peace in the Morning Show with Darius Stanton. Peace.
Say what now? Y'all look like y'all ready to party now. Y'all ready to go down tonight now? rock this thing alright. Cause everybody's in the house tonight. I'm not keeping what you doing, y'all. Ooh, say what? Don't stop what you're doing now. Got to make it real funky when you're doing what you're doing. Now get it. Say what now? Ooh, man, make it real funky night. I'll get on down now. Oh, shucks now. I think we get that thing in the groove now, y'all. Just warming this thing up a little bit for you now. You do. You got the booger now. Ow. So what? We gonna do that, baby. We gonna do that tonight. Everybody's talking about this right now. Say what? Make that stuff feel funky now. What we talking about? That's what we talking about. You book it down now. What's the name of that dance you doing, baby? That's it. Oh, that fine sexy mama over there now. Ow. Say what? How y'all feel out there now?
Woo! What's up? Peace in the morning, baby. We live right here at the Peace in the Morning show with Darius, Stanton, funkin' and rolling. You know how we doing it on the Peace in the Morning show. All the way live. We got Brother Ture coming in the studio in just a moment. Hey, listen, For the Culture. Go look it up. The number 4, The Culture. The number 4, The Culture. If you got an iPad, if you on a Droid, whatever you're using, For the Culture, I needed that. You got to work it out, baby. That's right. So check it out. We are live with the Peace in the Morning show. This is Darius Stanton. As you can tell, we are all pumped up and ready to go, pumped up and ready to go. Win, win, win. You see, today I'm sporting my the Lincoln University jacket. That's right. You saw the tiger. I don't know if you saw it early in the show. I'll give you a little taste of it. Okay. But the Lincoln University was the first grant degreeing historically black college and university. Let me rewind that for you. The Lincoln University was the first grant degreeing. Back in 1854, it was an all-male school, all-male college. And at that time, Cheney University had already been started. Unfortunately, Cheney was not granting degrees. So they were a school, but they weren't granting degrees. Lincoln was the first to grant degrees. So for those who are Cheney universities, it was the first HBCU. So all hail to Cheney University. If you are alumni, they could definitely use your financial support. If you're a Lincoln University alumni, come on back to the line, baby. We need you. And we're funkin' and rolling, as you can see, what we are doing as Lincoln alum, pushing positivity in our community. Join our chapter. If you're local, it's a chapter all over the country. Find one near you. Call the Lincoln University. Look it up on Facebook. Google it. You can find it because we're out there at Lincoln University. Kwame Ture, that's right. You can hear a lot about that brother today as well because the brother here is named after him. That's right. Coming in the studio in just a moment. Listen, life is about transitions, going from one level to the next. And I believe we were somewhere before we were here. Somewhere else in the atmosphere, somewhere else in the galaxy, somewhere else in the universe. And right now, the neighborhood I grew up in, Spa Road in Annapolis, Maryland, home to now Merlin Hall, home to the Wiley H. Bates, now Legacy Center, which was formerly Wiley H. Bates High School, which is now Wiley H. Bates Middle School, which used to be Wiley H. Bates Junior High, and former home of the Annapolis High School, former home of just a countless number of folks. My grandfather, William H. Johnson Jr., my mother, Queen Ayesudebe, Kevin Slade, one of the greatest athletes ever to play in Anne Arundel County. The list of folks goes on and on. A number of city championships, high school championships came out of there. You know, just the list just goes on and on with great folks. But one of the greatest people to ever come out of our community was a brother by the name of Ernest Tank Downs. So he passed this week, and you know, it's tough on us because Tank was an amazing brother. He was an amazing child, and he was an amazing man. If you had the pleasure of knowing him, you know that he was funny as all outdoors. He created his own language. And next Friday, we're going to do a special tribute. The entire show we're going to dedicate to our good brother. Funky Friday, next Friday, will be dedicated to Ernest Tank Down. God bless his family, to our Spar Road family. You know, everybody who loved and cared for him, his son. You know, God bless you. We love you, and hope to all see you all soon as we celebrate the life of Ernest Tank Downs. Now, there's a brother running for governor, the state of Florida. On to our positive news. There's a brother running in Florida for governor, and he is now basically the nominee of the Democratic nominee for for Florida. And already, you know, the Republicans are already jumping out on him and called the man a monkey. And he hasn't even been the nominee for over 2 weeks. And, you know, this is what we're dealing with, you know, in terms of the world today, with being that whole negative piece. So we're going to stay focused on the positive. As you know, we deal with asset-based communications. We want to make sure that people understand the focus and why it's so important to get away from the negative, you know, and to really focus on the positive, and just consistently, even when you're dealing with a negative situation, speak the positive into it. Speak the positive into it. We know what the challenges are. We know what the ugly is. We recognize that. But people have to stop getting tied to the deficit. You can't, you know, want to see domestic violence stop, but you got a T-shirt on that says domestic violence. Stop domestic violence. Because the universe is seeing the word stop, but it's also seeing domestic violence. We want to stop shooting in our communities. So we can't keep talking about shooting and violence in our communities. We have to say peace in our communities. We have the word is in the power. You know they say it's in the word. It's in the word. That's right. There's power in the word because there's spirit behind that. There's energy. There's vibration in the word. And so when you speak that word, you're putting that word into the universe. That's why I love the brother that's coming up, because he created for the culture. There's a lot behind that now. Some brothers may know why for the culture is so significant, but it is for the culture. And once we get into ourselves, our culture, ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. Now, that song probably is deficit-based, so we're going to switch it up and say, we are moving around. That's right. We got to switch it up. You know, we got to switch it up. We get caught up in it. You know, like those things that we used to eat that we know we should not eat anymore, cut it. But you know, you heard that before if you watch Peace in the Morning. So shout out to Queen Ahadi. I love you, Ma. That was her song you heard after you heard that Trouble Funk. Or actually before you heard that Trouble Funk. The Devil's After You. And that was by Queen Ahadi, Earth Blessings Royal Court Orchestra. So coming up real quick, I don't want to delay anymore. For anybody who's got a business, you know, this is Labor Day weekend here in the United States of America. So you got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Now, a lot of people are going to spend time eating foods that are causing worms and parasites, ribs, pork, chicken. Most of it is genetically modified because think about it. Think about all of the stores all over the world. And think about the amount of cows and pigs and chickens that it takes to put hamburgers and hot dogs in every school, every prison, every university, every restaurant. That's a lot of meat reproduced really fast, right? But aside from that, we're also going to party, have a good time, you know. But I want us to think about something. This is our last segment of Forward to School, how to prepare our children to go back to school. Last week, we gave 6 tips for the parents. And the 6 tips that we gave, the first one was focused on, look, prepare your children to go to school. So that means you got to go to school with them. Education's got to be their new sport. Number 1, school starts at home. So that was number 1. School starts at home. Doesn't start at first grade, kindergarten, pre-K, Head Start, daycare. It starts at home. Manners, how to read, how to write, your numbers, the geography of the world, all the continents, all the countries in Africa, all the countries in every major continent, every geography, so people, they understand the world and that it's bigger than themselves. Number 2, you have to show up. Every day, every month, you need to be at that school, letting them know who you are. Number 3, you have to teach them how to be engaged, how to focus on what's important. Art and music. Have them understand and tie themselves to art and music. Number 4, experience. Have them experience and travel. Make sure you take them on field trips. Make sure you let them travel by themselves. You sit in the back of the bus, they sit in the front of the bus. Number 5, you want to make sure that you feeding them things that don't strain the brain, but things that help grow the brain, because sugar kills. So if you're giving your children sugar and a whole lot of other things, that high fructose corn syrup is killing the brain cells before they even get a chance to grow and blossom. All right. And number 6, make sure that you focus your children on being their own boss and making sure that when they go to school, they're going to school to go to the next level. They're not just going to school to work for somebody else. So that's a great segue for us to be able to bring our next guest on. We're going to crank it up a little bit because it's Funky Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, when I come back, I'm going to have this young, powerful brother. He is young, gifted, and black. That's right, for the culture. Brother Ture will be with us very soon on the Peace in the Morning Show. This is Darius A. Stanton. Share this show. Share this show. Give us a little love, a little heart, a little this, a little that. That's right. We rolling. Kick it, Ron. It's Funky Friday. Hey, welcome forward to the Peace in the Morning show. This is Darius Stanton, and we're in the studio with a very dynamic brother this morning for the very first time, but it sure enough won't be the last, and we look forward to a lifelong partnership. I am so impressed with this brother, and after pouring through some of his social media and some of the things he's published, you're in for a treat. So share this show, love this show, push it out right now. If you're a business owner, if you want to be a business owner, if you're in school, if you have a child going to school or going to college, you want this brother's knowledge. Welcome to the Peace in the Morning show.
How you doing, man?
Brother Ture, how you feel, man?
I'm good, man.
Pronounce your first name for us.
Ahadi.
Ahadi Ture.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Ahadi, man, like, you're a breath of fresh air, brother. There's a sister I want to make sure you meet. She's the world traveler of our family. My mom travels so much that, you know, people know is your mother in the country or not. But this sister's 30 and she'd already been to 28 countries.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? And she's from right here in Maryland, Stanton. Right now she resides in Costa Rica. So we want to connect you with her because we know that your For the Culture Business app is connected to countries all over the world.
Yes, sir.
And so tell us a little bit about, you know, where you're from, your transition. Start with your name, man, how they named you, you know.
So my name is Ahadi Ture. I was named after Kwame Ture. He was also known as Stokely Carmichael, one of the members of the Black Panther Party, and he also helped with SNCC, with Martin Luther King. And,
tell people what SNCC is for those who've been.
So it was a movement during the 60s that helped. It was mostly nonviolent under King supervision that helped with the protests. And you see a lot of protests that started today was one of the ways, or they was one of the pioneers to get it started. You know, a lot of times we think about riots and things like that, and that was just out of character. That was one of the things that they didn't, you know, pretty much push. Yeah, promote. You know, they was more so like by the book, public policies and things like that, like getting into office and making change instead of going into the neighborhoods and tearing things up. You know, so him being a big part of that. You know, with SNCC and just his journey at age 25, once, you know, Malcolm X had, you know, passed away or got murdered, he left the country. You know, he wanted to get in there and he left at the age of 25. And he was the next one up, you know, for the civil rights movement. But for him to take the stand, to go abroad, to build, you know, his empire there and being able to connect that international partnership with United States is big. So it's an honor to be named after him. I looked up everything I could on him and try to understand his lifehood and things like that. You know, and but Ahadi itself means to make much promise in Swahili.
To make much promise.
Yes, sir.
To make much promise.
Yes.
So what does that mean? To make much promise.
Pretty much just know who you are as a person. Try to understand what is your purpose in life. You know, everyone has their own thing. It's kind of cliche to say, but you could be anybody you want to be, even yourself.
Right.
You know, but you got to find out who you are, what you like. You know,
right.
We tend to get misconstrued by media. We might like something, but we might like something because someone else do.
Right.
You know, so just understanding who you are and just setting a purpose. I think each generation, they have a mission. All you could do is achieve that mission, or you can abandon that mission.
Right.
You know, so I think my mission here is, you know, getting people the idea of the app, but it's just the first step into, you know, making this empire, you know, international. Right.
So we're going to cover quite a bit. Our goal is to cover quite a bit. If you want to talk to this brother, 240-719-2560 to find out how you market. There's a brother named DX Muhammad who just started a brand new mobile, African-American mobile phone company. We want to connect you with him. There are a number of folks out there that are doing some amazing things in business. And so it's great that you're doing that because of the need for us to regenerate the dollar inside of the African-American community. So this is the Forward to School series. So I wanted you to talk about your educational background. And as you do that, I want you to then, when you get to the Morgan State University component, talk about how you use school to help you to develop your business. You didn't just go to school to work for somebody else. You have people that are calling you and want to offer you jobs. You got 2-week waits on from some major banks. I might not introduce who the banks are because I don't know what kind of investments they make in our community. We only support those who support our community. So I want you to talk about that. But later on in the show,
I want us to get into the app itself.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to shift scenes, go sit over there and chop it up.
Yeah.
And also, I want to give, you know, you have 6 things that you talk about, you know, how to reach, you know, our community and really would help us get to the next level. But I want you to talk to parents and tell them how to prepare their children to go to school. Then the last component, you know, there's some items that, some issues that are happening in our community that I want us to talk about, you know, from an African perspective and how we need to be looking and addressing those things. And one of them in particular is something I've been asking the guests that's been coming on this month, and that's focused around our images, in particular entertainment and our music. I spoke to some young people the other day and I asked them what were the 3 biggest shows on television. What do you think they said? They're black shows that black people watch.
Probably Love and Hip Hop.
That's right.
Probably one of them.
Empire.
And Power.
There you go.
Empire.
Right. So there's some common themes between that, and all of them have all the themes were negative. Okay. Then there's the quote that Eric Benet, or the statement that Eric Benet made about some rappers being the new face of white supremacy. Did you see that?
Nah, that.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna play that for our audience a little later. I may be able to play it for the audience a little later. But nevertheless, I'll share that and we can chop that up as well, okay? But now, talk to us about your educational journey and, you know, how you tied that to developing your business.
Okay, just a little bit about myself. I was born in Kenya, came here when I was 5 to the United States. My mom changed my name. I'm not going to speak on the name because it was just a time period where I wasn't myself. You know, but she changed it for the fact that I can fit into American society, you know, and that kind of backfired.
But that's deep though, and I say that because there's a lot of research out there that shows how people with names that appear to be black are never called for jobs. Same resume, but the name appears to be an Afrocentric or a person of color, and they don't get called.
That's true.
Put the different name on it, more Americanized or European name tied to it, they get a phone call for an interview.
Oh yeah, it's real, man. So like, just going through the journey, you know, I graduated in 2010 from Woodrow Wilson Senior High School. I was living down Southwest, and I went to Jefferson Junior High. It was a junior high school at the time, but now it's a middle school.
Right.
But it was one of the best schools in the city. So
Right.
what they do is they send your paperwork up to Woodrow Wilson Senior High School, which is one of the best schools in the city. And people always ask, you come all the way from Southwest all the way uptown, you know, by American University to go to school, you know, why? And you know, that's pretty much the reason. But during my senior year, I ended up having a daughter named Harmony. You know, she changed my whole perspective on what I wanted to do. You know, I was thinking about going straight to school, you know, at least going to trade or, you know, EMT, whatever, doing something, some
Sure.
type of post-education. But it just clicked in, you know, I had to be a provider. You know,
Right, I gotta step my game up.
Like,
Yeah.
I stopped everything. Like, I was applying for jobs. I worked at Party City.
Right.
Worked at, it was the Horizon Center at the time. I think it's Capital One now.
Okay.
And my last job was Radio Shack. That
Okay.
was the biggest thing. So,
Right.
I'm, you know, out here making, you know, some good money, you
Right.
know, 18, 19, you
Sure.
know.
Hustling.
Yeah, just getting it
That's
every day.
right.
You know, no complaints, you know, feeding her, getting everything she needs and stuff like that. And then, you know, next thing I know, I got promoted from sales associate to key holder, you know. I had the key to the store, could open the store, close the store, depending
Right.
on which shift it is.
Okay.
Then I went to assistant manager, you know. I'm like, okay, assistant manager, pay went up a little bit.
Right.
And then the manager had quit, so I applied for the manager position. But they shot me down because of the fact that I didn't have a degree.
Ah.
That's
The
where-
door closing.
Yeah, that's where it
the,
came
the,
in.
the great American, the great American. Hey, I've been there. I tell people I didn't finish school. I went back to school. I went to high school, graduated, went to play ball at junior college, got an opportunity to start my career. I asked myself a key question: am I going to the pros? So let me start my professional career. So I left school and started working professionally, and I then went to get my master's at Lincoln. And didn't finish. So I didn't finish school technically. I went back in 2009, but I didn't get my master's until 2011. held a range of jobs, had a wonderful career, but it was only the fact that my work ethic spoke for me. And so as a result of that, people still gave me jobs, but they were in the boardroom, which I was told later, every time the job would come up or a new role would come up, they were like, Darius can do that. How about Stanton? And then somebody in the room would say, yeah, but you know he doesn't have a degree. And they would go around the room and look, you know, all the other resumes, and then what they would end up doing was coming back to me, because even the other resumes they knew didn't have the work ethic and the what I call emotional intelligence, or what's called emotional intelligence, to help people really work better. Because I respect people and I give people credit for their work. As a result of that, boom, you know, but I went back, so that was no longer people in my ear. My grandmother, rest bless her soul, said, you know, I want you to finish and get your degree. Oh, yeah. I went back to school and did it. So to that point, you then went to where?
So once the door closed at Radio Shack, you know, I was upset, you know.
Right.
Being a man, you know, you get proud for
right,
you.
Right.
Figure out what's next, you know. So they said that I was like, you know, they want a degree, I'm gonna give them a degree. So I went to different schools, like as far as like school tours and things like that. I went to Bowie, Towson, Coppin State, and Morgan State. And Morgan State was the best for me. You know, I felt at home. I don't know why.
Well, as soon as you walked on that east side campus, on the east side of Baltimore City, the Golden Bears. Shout out to Morgan State University. My wife is an alumnus. Morgan State, you know, great university. As a matter of fact, the #1 HBCU in terms of engineering, one of the top engineering programs in the country. But your major at Morgan was what?
Political science and marketing.
Okay.
And I also did a minor in information technology. That's where the coding came in for the app and things like that.
Okay.
But just the experience, like with Morgan, like freshman year I came in, I'm like, cause I took 2 years off before going to Morgan, you know, cause that's when I was working. Okay. And that's a key point that I bring up later about, you know, the right time to, you know, think you want to go to school and things like that, just prepping yourself for it.
We'll come back to that, because I think people get caught up, you know, if they don't go away from school. You can get caught up no matter where you are. You can stay home and do nothing, you know, and hang in the cafeteria. You know, we used to call, at community college, we used to call it the cafeteria crew. You know, like it was classes there all day, you know, but they weren't. They supposed to be in class, you know. I was in there a few times, you know, but, and then the same thing with going to school. You can be on campus and be in your dorm and never make it to class.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
La la all day, ha ha, bye-bye, or whatever you're doing, you know, and don't make it to class. Yeah. So it's really your mindset.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's the thing. Like at Morgan, it's called the Welcome Bridge. Right. So Morgan is how it's designed. It's a straight shot. Right. So you leave out your dorm, you go through the student center, and you go to your class, like the academic side, you know. But in between, it's a bridge called the Welcome Bridge, and it's people passing out flyers, it's people talking about organizations. You could walk on that bridge and be on that bridge for an hour and not even know it. Right. Because there's so many people on the bridge that's passing out and doing, you know, so you gotta be careful. That's what they tell you. Right. During freshman year.
Don't get caught up on the bridge.
Don't get caught up on the bridge. Right. You know, and I think just being able to interact, you know, with different people, that was one of the key things that I learned freshman year, was the fact that you come in, I'm from DC, you from Jersey, you from Cali, like, but we all have the same goal. You know, it kind of make you feel pride. Like the pride comes up when you see other people, you know, the same color that's trying to strive for greatness. You know, so
you see the value in being on a historically black college and university.
Oh yeah,
campus.
Yeah, and it's pros and cons to anywhere you go.
Sure.
I know everybody, you know, got some beef with the Bursar office a little bit, because it's tough, you know, especially when it comes to financial aid and things like that, trying to get funds. Because, again, society don't expect African Americans to go to school. Or if they do, it's to a lesser degree, you know. So I have friends that go to HBCUs, I have friends that go to PWIs, and we get into
PWIs for folks is predominantly white institutions.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. And we have debates all the time, because some friends, they think that going to a PWI will solidify your spot in society when it comes to jobs, where in reality, they just want to see if you can do the work, you know. So just during that time, like just dealing with different internships and meeting different professors, like you get different experience, because like I always say, like, all my skin folks, not my kin folks. You know, meaning that just because we both African American doesn't mean that we're gonna look out for each other, that we're gonna provide insight to lift each other up. You know?
So to that end, one of the things that I would like for us to work on collectively is the challenges that we have, because we're seeing it right now on every level, right? In the state of Maryland, you know, people from Baltimore don't like the people from Prince George's County, or that was a problem. They're starting to come together. But even at the legislative level, you know, delegates, senators, you know, adult professionals that go to school. But it starts, you know, right now in elementary schools. You have elementary schools because they hear their parents and their older siblings. In D.C., you know, you from Simple City, so I'm beefing with your neighborhood. Or you from Southeast, so I'm you know, are you from Berry Farm, so I'm beefing. You know, so that happens at the elementary. In Annapolis right now, you got children from one neighborhood don't like each other because they heard about this other neighborhood. And that's starting at the elementary school level, and it grows, and it stays ingrained in us. But it also is happening on college campuses, you know, and the camaraderie. You went there looking for camaraderie. You went there looking for unity. But a lot of people are so caught up in what I call a nothingness. They beef because I'm from Jersey, you from Philly, you from Baltimore, I'm from New York, you know. So we on these campuses, and we there to learn. We there to grow our spiritual, physical, academic, all of these different realms of our being, but yet we fighting and arguing about what neighborhood, and literally fighting, you know. Or I'm from this fraternity, you from that sorority, you know. We don't deal with each other. All of that. Whoa, we people trying to kill us. And you paying to be here, and you got time to do that. And you know, we got organizations that are out here, you know, adult professional organizations that don't like each other because of their brand, and they competing, or they from this, so they don't like this person. Instead of dealing and pulling them up and helping them say, look, you did this, but I didn't think it was cool, they go to other people and talk about it, you know, all of that. So one of the things I'd like for us to work on, you know, because we plan on our chapter here at the D.C. Maryland chapter at Lincoln University plans on going to Lincoln and helping to coach students on campus to make sure that they're successful. Because a lot of students don't come like you are prepared, you know, in terms of ready to go to work. And they need support. And the same thing at Bowie, the same thing at Morgan, you know, so we need a national movement that goes to our HBCUs and talks about why UNITY is so important, and why you need to be here focusing on starting your business and educating yourself to go fulfill your passion versus coming to school just to go work for one of the big top 5 accounting firms or big engineering firms, or going to work for somebody else, spending your entire life building somebody else's dream. Yeah, you get a pension, or maybe not. Yeah, you get a house and you'll spend money to get a car, but you just feeding that. What are you doing for your own kids? What are you leaving for your family? How are you teaching your children? So I really want us to talk about how we can bridge that, because that is a challenge. Am I correct?
Oh yeah, it's a big challenge. I think growing up in D.C., I've seen it. Like me being from Southwest D.C., we would beef with East Street, and we would beef with KDP or KDY Uptown, and at first it was fun because you're young, you got energy, you want to do stuff, you don't care what it is. Like you don't even know why the beef is happening. You know, it's just happening, and you in it, and it's like either you're gonna do something or you're not. Like,
and people don't understand developmental psych. In the period, in the stage between 16 to like 22 years old, maybe 21, 22, the reason why young people join gangs is because naturally at that point you're looking to click up. So some people click up with sports. Some people football, baseball, whatever the sports team, that's their clique. You know, they don't call it a clique, but that's what it is. And the same thing with gangs. So yeah, it is an issue of an absence of love at home, but it's also just the natural inclination to want to be a part of something, a sense of belonging. So they just happy to be a part of the neighborhood, and now it just so happened that it's costing us our lives.
Oh yeah. And we don't even own, we can't own land in D.C., you know. You can own the house, but you can't own the land that the house is on, you know, which is a big thing. And then who we are on blocks.
What do you mean you can't own the land?
You can't own the land. Like, so I read an article not too long ago where if you can own the house, you can pay off the house, but the land itself is still part of the government, which means they can come in at any time. And if they need it for, it could be public safety, It could be national security reasons, whatever they can come up with. They can come to your house and say, oh, in the next 10 years we're going to build a highway coming through this way. So by default, they'll try to buy you out. And if you refuse, they'll find a way to get you out there. So it's just like, we got to be careful because we out here shooting and killing each other over signs or blocks that we live on where
we don't even own.
We're not making no money off of it.
Right.
Instead of that, doing that, you know, it's another thing to unify, you know, in the sense of, prime example, Fred Hampton, 21 years old in New York City, he was able to go to different gangs and let them know we have a common enemy, you know, which is the system.
Right.
And he got them to join the Black Panther Party because of, just off the strength that, okay, we all men, we all have our pride, but at the same time, they're going to knock me off, they're going to knock you off, they're going to knock him off. So instead of them getting the jump on us, why not join to get the jump on them? And that's just one example of unity, which the system itself was scared of, because again, Fred Hampton was 21 years old.
Right.
You know, and he was in New York City, like one of the meccas, you know, in the United States when it comes to not even just people, but just black folks in the area, you know. So I think for us, like, the system taught us how to deal more on the individual level instead of on a collective level like we were. Through Afrocentric teachings, we were more in a sense of, you know, and even back then, like if you acting up in the neighborhood, the mailman can check you, the neighbor can check you. Like, you got all these different people that, you know,
that would check you.
Yeah, that can
and they would mind checking you because you just said the word. You know, rest in peace. Our good sister Aretha Franklin just had her, you know, services this week. But you know, RASPECT, respect. People respected their elders, you know, so the elders didn't mind saying something. Now elders don't want to say anything because the respect in a lot of cases is not there, and they're fearful of young people.
Oh yeah.
You know, so that respect piece is a major component that we have lost and withdrawn, you know, from our communities. And one of the reasons why I talk about that, or that I've been really addressing and highlighting, is just think 30 years ago, D.C. was known as the murder capital of the world. Multiply those 30 years times the number of African-American males that have been killed in major cities. So you say 300 a year in Baltimore, in Richmond, in New Orleans, in Oakland, in New York City, Philadelphia, you know, just go around the horn, right? And multiply that, now you have tens of thousands of black males who, out of those, let's say 50% of them, 60% of them had children before they got killed. Yeah. Now they don't know anything about a father or a grandfather. That's where you get that respect. I sure enough got that respect from my grandfather, that deep voice who talked to me like, next Sunday, I know you can do this, you can do that. That's missing in a lot of our families because, you know, women, I had some of the most powerful women in the world raised me. But when that voice hits a child, it's just something different happens. I don't know the reason for the why, but something different happens. And so it's so critical for us to be able to understand the need for us to work together, but to build ourselves. Before we take this break, give our parents something to chew on and something to use as they prepare their children to go back to school or to go to school themselves.
I think for me, my advice to them would just be being able to understand, you know, because we are two different generations, you know. For instance, my mom, you know, she'll see me on the computer all day, and she'll be like, you've been on that computer all day, you know, not knowing that I'm dealing with the app, or I'm emailing, or I'm, you know, making money sometimes, doing business. Exactly. So, like, I think just coming to an understanding where, you know, take the time out to understand what your kids want. You know, like, cause
I call them children because, you know, kids are baby girls. Right?
Yeah, so just allowing them to speak on what they want to do and just being supportive. You know, a lot of times they just want to see their parents. They just want to see their parents supporting them, because a lot of times, like, they belittle. Past generation from my experience, they belittle us millenniums like too much instead of understanding. I think each generation had to take or learn at least 15% of the last generation. You know, I think that's the big key. So when I go to different speaking events and I see elders there, I just go sit with them and I talk with them just to understand their mindset and what they went through.
And parents need to do the same thing.
That's it. Yeah.
Support your children's passion.
Exactly.
And then you have to help them explore what their passion is. Put them in art.
Yeah.
Put them in drama. Have them play an instrument. That was one of the keys I missed. Well, no, I talked about the art piece, but putting them in spaces to be able to find out, I love this, or I don't. You know, and then if you find your passion early, then you have more time to work on.
Oh, yeah.
So by the time you get to high school, we got a young brother right now, Jonathan Gorham, who is at Loyola University. He started his own business in high school. Had his buddies working for him, selling his kicks to students in school, as well as now he's going to Loyola University. I'm sure he's already got his business in place.
Yeah.
So his mother helped to find his passion, right, and pushed him and supported him, helped him with his branding, helped put his business plan together, marketing strategy, the whole 9 yards. And so being able to support your children and make sure that they tie into their passion and finding out that passion is so important. And the other thing he said that's the key is not only help them find it, but once they find it, support them by being involved and engaged in it yourself. Yeah. One of the greatest things for me, even though I went back to school later, was to be in school so that my children could see me while they were in school, staying up all night.
Yeah.
You saw me up, but they go to bed and they wake up, I'm still at the table writing. So they got a chance to see me do that. So when they went to school and they applied themselves, staying up all night, doing what it takes to be that work ethic. So thank you for passing that tip on. We're going to take a little funky break. When we come back, we're talking with our good brother Ahadi Ture, and we're going to talk about For the Culture, the app, and what it takes to be successful in business and how you can tie into that. When we come back to the Peace in the Morning Show, it's Funky Friday, baby. I know we're talking education, but we're going to get funky like we got funky this morning in the studio, son. Yes, sir. That's how we do it on the Peace in the Morning Show. We haven't freestyled in a minute either. Maybe you want to freestyle for us? I know you work with David Banner now to do some things to get him on the app. But we'll be right forward in the Peace in the Morning Show with Darius, Stanton, and Brother Ture for the culture.
Let's just start going out to Wanda.
All right. Good morning, peace and love. Welcome to the Peace in the Morning Show with Darius Stanton and my brother Ahadi Ture. Welcome to the show, brother.
Man.
Hey, man, it's such a joy to be around, brothers who are working to uplift us and not spending time, on who's not supporting, African Americans or people of color, just positivity, period. And so for you to do that, I just want to salute you. I want to also salute you for the work that you're doing for the culture. It's important right now. The African American dollar goes in and out the door, meaning it's recycled in our community one time, I believe.
6.6 hours.
6.6 hours, the dollar stays in our pocket.
Yeah.
6.6 hours.
Where if you go to an Asian community or if you go to a white community, it could take months. It could take years to get out. So anytime, like for instance, they want to go to Walmart, that's still their dollar circulating in their community. So it's just like, how can we decrease the amount of time? Like 6.6 hours is crazy.
It's not even a full day.
Nah, not at all.
It's gone in the window and out the window just like that. And a great example of that, you talked about the challenge of the bursar's office. And so for folks who hadn't, been on college campus or forgot, the bursar's office is where you have to pay your bill. And the challenge in us paying our bills, part of that is the schools don't have large endowments. Yeah. And they don't have large endowments because their alumni have not been successful in business. And if they have been successful in business, largely successful, meaning in the millions, then they will not necessarily be contributing back. And it doesn't take, you don't have to be a millionaire to give back to your school.
No, that's true.
Because Claflin University, where my lovely daughter Jayla Kier Stanton and son Darius A. Stanton II went to school, they're the number one alumni giving HBCU. They give back, their students and parents of these students give back to Claflin more than any other school. And they're not necessarily large contributions. It's the volume of people that give. Think about Barack Obama's campaign. He had, of course, some large donors, but he really focused on getting the average person to give $25, $5, $10, $15, and that adds up, So speaking of volume and adding up, tell us about For the Culture, the app. If you know somebody in business who has a business right now, you definitely want to share the show because you want them to hear about how this brother started the app and, how you can be involved and where the app is going.
Okay, so the For the Culture app, it was a process. I'm gonna start with that, because being in college, that's where the idea came from. Before that, I wrote a book called The Journey to Ahadiism. It focused on the different quotes I live by.
You wrote a book already?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Journey to Ahadiism.
Yes.
I like that title, brother.
Yeah, man. It was just me just being in school and just writing, like just my transition, because like I said, I ran the streets a little bit. I did some things that I'm not proud of, and just to have that transition to becoming who I want to be, it's a beautiful sight. So with the book, it helped me lay out, the different African symbols and the quotes and the people I looked up to and the books I read and the movies I saw, like all these things to pretty much round out my consciousness. And it was volume 1 because there's still a lot more to go. And,
sure.
And just from getting that, like being able to sell a couple of 100 books, like I was like, wow, okay. And then instantly I had people coming to me like, so what's next? Like when the next one coming out? And I was like,
wow, what's next? You're like, I wrote a book, what more you want?
I thought that was it,
right.
Like have my book signed at Morgan and was able to feel good about myself and sign some books and answer, I had to do some Q&A and stuff like that. But then I learned that a lot of people are visual learners, or as they say, visual learners, So for about 6 months, I did extensive research on trying to create an idea, like where I can reach people even more, especially in the modern day. So I looked around, because I'm like, this app, like everyone uses apps on their phone.
Right.
That was the biggest thing. I looked at Candy Crush, how they made $1 billion in a year. It was a free app, but because they're in-app purchases, because you so addicted, you playing a game and then you run out of lives and you buy a life for 99 cents, and you don't even know. I thought, wow, that 99 cents add up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of big for me because I see people on their phones, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it may be. So I separated and I was like, okay, the app. I know how to code the app, but I'm trying to see how I can construct it. How can I put it together? Because when it launched, I don't want to be something mediocre. I needed to be great.
Right.
So it took 6 months to actually do the research and understand that it wasn't an app out there. Because just when you see something, you think like, or if you think something, you're like, I saw that before somewhere.
Right.
So before I go make a copy or something,
Sure.
I had to really think like and do my research. Like, there's no app out there. So and then for the culture, it came up because everyone kept saying it. The Migos, and you hear all the celebrities, and being black is the thing. So you hear for the culture, just like in the '60s, you might hear I'm black and I'm proud.
Right.
And that was like the thing. Like, here
so
we go.
Right.
So for the culture, or do it for the culture, whatever it may be, was the key phrase, and it meant a lot. It's a different way. It's not one way of being black. It's not one way of being African American. So for the culture was like the perfect name. And then I was so scared to tell people about it because I thought someone was going to steal the idea. So I did all the copywriting, I did all the trademarking, did everything beforehand. And I was going around and I started coding, I started understanding the process. But at the same time, I'm gonna be honest, it was a dark process because there wasn't no social life. I wasn't going out. I wasn't, I was changing my lifestyle, like in the point of like I would go out, probably, grab some food, things like that, and hang out with some friends. I was still communicating with them, but I was in the creative
You're
process.
much more limited.
Yeah. So
And
like,
people wonder, where is he? He not
Yeah.
hanging out. How come we don't see him? We fellas get together. I kind of experienced that young, not necessarily because I was developing that, because I had not, but I've always been like right out of school, high school, I jumped right into doing community work.
Yeah.
And I got real focused on that. So, while people going to the club or what have you, and then I had children early. And so I worked so much during the week. When the weekend come, they at the fight or whatever, well, I got a girlfriend that became my wife. I got to be with her because all week long I've been at the meetings from 7 in the morning until 7, 10, 9 at night. So I really don't have time to be at the club. And, I like to go-go's like everybody else. But I got to spend that time. And fortunately, my family loves me, my children, my wife's still with me 30 years later.
that's amazing, man.
As a result of, being able to have that discipline. Yeah. But so, so you had to focus.
Yeah.
Make that sacrifice.
Yeah, a lot of people, they didn't understand that. It was more so like, come out with us, come this, like, and this might be a little cliche, but like one time in the Drake song, I forgot what song it was, he was saying like, he making songs that people can party to.
Right.
And like, he want to enjoy himself, but he know he got work to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, like I sacrificed a lot of time. I handpicked my team. My team start off with 15 people. All 15 I handpicked, I interviewed. They went through an extensive process, probably like 3 weeks to a month, where I was just putting them through different things, like not only assessments, but different, venues that I would invite them to, just to see if they'd show up, just their mindset, because I didn't need someone that didn't know what the app was going to be about. I needed some people that was going to be down, not just for the culture, but for the cause, to let them understand that how we at war, not only with ourselves, but with society.
Right.
But with each other and things like that.
So you had to, not only did you vet them, but then after you got them on board, you had to take them through different experiences to make sure, to really make sure your team was the kind of team you needed around you.
Oh yeah, because people don't understand, once you invite or once you introduce an idea to the universe, you're gonna have people that come from all angles, good and bad, So I just wanted my team to be as sharp as possible. I call them the dream team. I was born in '92, so I didn't see the dream team play, but I like how, one of the ancestors told me, one of the elders told me that if you take the year that you was born and you kind of like maximize the accomplishments during that year, you'll understand, where you fit into all of this. So the dream team was I mean, especially for sports, it was
Right.
big. It was
It was
huge.
big. That's
you
right.
know, made basketball international, like on a
Right.
global platform. And
Some people say Golden State is the new dream team.
man,
Right.
yeah, but yeah, like they phenomenal. But to be honest, we're gonna be honest. It went from 15 people to 7. In 6 months, I was able to evaluate who was there and
Right.
who was riding the wave.
Who was
as they
riding
say.
the wave.
You know,
Right.
because it's just real. Like I can't stress enough how important it is for everyone to do their job.
Right, to be on your point.
You know, yeah, we
Be on
all
post.
are a part, you know, of this one component, you know, but if one lacked, then we all lacked,
Right.
you know. So it was tough, you know, but I let them know that it was a business decision. It wasn't just off the strength of I just didn't like them.
Yeah, it wasn't
more so-
personal, it was business.
It was business because
Right.
at the end of the day, I own 74% of my company.
Right,
My daughter owns 20% of the company.
right. Did y'all hear that? He owns 74 and his daughter owns 20%.
Yeah.
So you're already creating a legacy.
Oh,
She
yeah.
already understands the dynamic around the business. You're already educating her to the business itself.
Oh yeah.
Succession.
Oh yeah, because I can't work a government job. I can't pass that down to her.
Right.
I can't pass a government job down.
Right,
to
that's
her,
what
you
Dr.
know.
Claude Anderson said.
Yeah,
we don't have that to pass down. You go work for somebody, but you can't pass that job down.
Exactly.
So tell us, because we got to wrap up, tell us what the show, how to get to the app, how they can access it, and the benefits real quick of the app, please.
Okay, so for the culture, we have a website, forthecultureapp.com, that you can go on. Or if you want to skip that process, you can go on your Android or your iPhone. We don't discriminate. We got both platforms, or iPad or tablet.
I registered today, so I already got I'm already locked in.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate
No
it.
doubt.
But you go in, you download the app. You'll see For the Culture, the number 4, because it is For the Culture, FOR, which is a card game. It's like Heads Up. I actually know the owner. Shout out to him for doing that, because it's an entertainment, to help with, families, bonding and stuff like that. But For the Culture, you'll see the logo. It'll be Africa, and inside you'll see the Pan-African colors, which is red, black, and green. And with that, you download it. It's free. I made it free because I know how our people are frugal when it comes to different things. So I made it free just to give them a taste of what real history is like. So once you go into the app, it would ask you to register. Why you register is because it gives you that time to make a profile with your name, your Twitter handle, your Facebook handle, whatever it may be,
Got
your
it.
email, things like that, so we can keep that data,
Got
so we can reach out when we need to.
Right.
So once you go in, first thing you see is you'll see the team. It's tabs that we have on there. These tabs range from what to do if the police stop you, know your rights. It teaches you how to meditate better. It teaches you how to eat better. Because a lot of times people don't understand that they always shout out Chicago on how it's like really bad, how the murder is amazing, to the point where it's killing these people at a fast rate. But people don't understand that if you look on the list of African Americans and how they've been killed, Chicago is ranked like 8th or 9th,
Right.
compared to high blood pressure, to cancer, to all these things that surround your eating habits.
And that's the food that's
You
taking
know?
us out.
Exactly. So that helps on there. So it's a number of things. It talks about kings and queens before slavery.
Right. So you educating people while you also promoting business.
Yeah. So we have public education on their phone, but for the business owners, we have the Black Business tab, which we have a tier program. We have 1, 2, and 3 tier programs where you get different services for it. So
do this. For the Culture, go check it out. Give them a contact, how they can reach you.
so you can reach me at, if you're on Instagram or if you're on Twitter or Facebook, Ahadi Ture, it'll pop up. Ahadi Ture, pop up. You can send me a message, DM, anything like that. And also on our website, forthecultureapp.com, you can reach out to me and get your business signed up, because we do have affordable pricing for small business, because we understand small businesses.
And the brother already has over 100,000 subscribers, 80,000.
Oh, we just cracked 100,000.
Congratulations,
today.
brother.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah.
And he's well almost to the $100,000 mark as well. So this is Ahadi Ture, For the Culture, founder and CEO. brilliant brother. You heard him talk about passing on the legacy. Already has his daughter 20% of the company. So thank you so much for joining us on the Peace in the Morning show. Forward to School. You know, he told you to get involved in your children's passion. You know, find out what their passion is and support them. This is Darius A. Stanton. We love you. Thank you for joining us. Shout out to the Spa Road crew. Rest in peace, Aretha Franklin, and also our good brother Ernest Tank Downs. Remember, next Friday's show is going to be about an amazing child who became an amazing man who left an amazing legacy, Ernest Tank Downs. This is Darius on the Peace in the Morning show. Ahadi, man, we'd love to see you come back and be a regular contributor on the Peace in the Morning show. Is that all right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
No
sir.
doubt, no doubt. This is Ahadi, Ture, and Darius A. Stanton on the Peace in the Morning show. Hello, Peace in the Morning.
Peace in the morning, man.
There you go, there you go. You know what we do.